This training is going to be all about understanding brand personas, which is the first step that you need to take before you take any action with your marketing plan. So let's go ahead and get started. So here are the goals that you'll want to keep in mind. You really want to think through the goals for your business and how the brand personas that you've identified will help you get there. So the primary goal that you'll need to arrive to is how your product or service really helps solve the problem of your brand personas. When you have a clear understanding of who your brand personas are, it allows you to create content that really connects with each one of them and addresses the needs of your customers and target audience. If you're defining your brand personas, take some time to visualize who that person is. Who do you really want your clients to be? Draw it out, write it out, research it online, take clippings out of magazines if you have to. Whatever it is that you need for inspiration to help you identify that dream client, start doing that before you start your marketing strategy. So when you're defining your brand personas, these are just a few of the things that you'd want to look at. Are they married or single? What is their income level? What type of education do they have? Where are they located? And where do they communicate, whether it be online, in person, and so on. So we'll dive into this a little bit deeper. When you think about your brand personas and where they hang out, think about where they hang out in person and online. What type of events do they like to go to? The museum, the park? What type of concerts do they like to attend? Learning events, seminars? Where do they hang out online? Is it Facebook, Instagram, Medium, LinkedIn, Snapchat? Where are they really at online? And what type of problems do they really have? And how are you able to solve that problem with your product or service? So when you're thinking about the product or service that you have to offer, where can they usually go to find information out about that type of product or service? And ultimately, think about what motivates each and every brand persona that you've identified. So you'll want to identify between 3 and 5, really no more than 5, because you don't want to blanket your target audience. You want to really identify who these brand personas are and how you can help them with your product or service. After you've identified your brand personas, evaluate what they have in common. Start to think about how you would approach them individually as well as how you would approach them as a target audience. Think about the best ways to connect with each brand persona as well as the group as a whole. Let's get started with this activity to help you understand how to create your own brand personas. In this example, we'll get started with Trevor. Trevor is single. He's 27 years old and he lives in New York City. He loves independent films, art, and hip hop. He mostly uses his cell phone because he's always on the go. Trevor is very active on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram. He checks his LinkedIn and Facebook occasionally. Trevor works in the city as a marketing manager, and his salary is $55,000 per year. He's interested in developing his leadership skills, and he currently has a mentor but wants to learn more about leadership. Now let's learn a little bit about Lindsay. Lindsay is single and 24 years old. She lives just outside of New York City. She loves making YouTube videos about cooking and uses her laptop to film her videos. Lindsay is active on Instagram as well as Facebook. She loves Facebook groups about leadership, hip hop, and pop. She works just outside the city for a large bank as an assistant manager, and she's wanting to move up in management by improving her leadership skills. Her current salary is $47,000, and she spends an hour each week reading leadership posts on LinkedIn. So let's talk about what Trevor and Lindsay have in common. They want to enhance their leadership skills. They both live in or around NYC. They both work in or around New York City. They like hip hop, they're active on social media, and they use their smartphones regularly. So, in this exercise, ask yourself, how would you market to both Trevor and Lindsay? What platforms should you be marketing on? What types of events or venues should you be speaking at or promoting your product or service at? What criteria should you use for your social media ads, such as Facebook ads? And what should your content look like online to connect to both Trevor and Lindsay? The next thing that you'll want to do is think about the differences between Trevor and Lindsay based on the descriptions and ask yourself how you will market to each one of them individually. When you develop your marketing strategy, you'll always want to develop one for your target audience, where you find the commonalities amongst all those brand personas. Next, you'll want to develop individual marketing strategies that connect with each of your brand personas so that you're able to solve their problem with your product or service. You can download this brand persona workbook and enjoy learning more on your own as you develop brand personas before you get started on your marketing strategy. For more great information, visit moderncreative.com.